Jackie, for more on this, let's bring in former acting ICE director, Heritage Foundation visiting fellow, and Fox News contributor Tom Homan. Tom, these numbers are nothing short of stunning and unprecedented. Casey Stegall, great report there, talking about more than 1 million. We actually have 1,059,988 apprehensions this fiscal year, and we are not even 6 months into the fiscal year. We are on pace to shatter every record ever set, and we are also days away from the lifting of Title 42, which will exacerbate it. Some 80,000 released, but for Title 42, 109,000 would have been released. What is going on?
Well, look, the 80,000 released this month, add to that the 67,000 that got across the country in gotaways. That's 147,000 illegal aliens that made it into this country, and now they're in the wind. Look, the president has failed. The borders are Kamala Harris. Where the hell is she at? Secretary Mayorkas needs to be impeached. He needs to resign from office because he's an embarrassment for the position he holds. Since he's been secretary, the numbers have broken records every month. He has made this country less secure. He has made this country, Homeland, less secure. So he needs to leave. At what point do the American people demand that he resign his position? And the commissioner of CBP, Chris Magnus, he's been in position almost a year. He doesn't even know what the hell his agency even does. He made a statement the other day by Texas moving migrants to Washington. He's interfering with CBP setting court dates for these aliens. He doesn't even know what they do. They don't set court dates for aliens. The court date's set when the alien gets to the final destination. So Chris Magnus needs to read a book. You've been there almost a year. Bring your staff in and ask them, what does my agency do? It's an embarrassment to the American people that our leadership right now has intentionally unsecured the most secure border we've ever had. And look, the 67,000 gotaway script, that's important. Because if you put that out for a year, that's over 800,000 people that are going to enter this country, and we don't know who the hell they are. And they came from 157 different countries, some of them that sponsor terrorism. So if anybody's going to think there are already 200,000 gotaways since October, didn't come from a country sponsoring terrorism, then they're ignorant. This is a national security crisis of the hugest proportions. And I'm sick and tired of soft-stepping this. For the members on the Hill, even the Republicans, look, the viewers need to call your representative, your senator, your congressman, and don't let them say, well, I'm a Republican, I don't control Congress. That's a bunch of garbage. They need to boycott every meeting with the Democrats and not discuss anything until they see some action on the border. This is a national security issue. We have lost control of our southern border. The Chief Patrol Agency even said the criminal cartels of Mexico control our southern border. This is dangerous. People are dying. A record number of migrants have died under Joe Biden.
Let's talk about the loss of control, though, because, listen, I'm no stranger to covering that border, and you've spent your entire adult life doing it. And we've seen the out-of-control situation spiraling for the last 12 months. But when I was down in any given sector, namely the Rio Grande Valley sector, or then over in Del Rio, or out in Arizona, we saw the cartels hitting various soft spots. But for the first time, Tom, I got the last 24-hour confidential inside numbers, and I've got 4 sectors blowing more than 1,000. RGV, 1,677 apprehensions in the last 24 hours. Del Rio, 1,433. That's up 174%. Yuma, 1,103, up 495%. El Paso, also nearly 1,200. 4 sectors with more than 1,000 people. It looks like it's not just one soft spot. It looks like the entire border is being overrun. Am I wrong?
No, look, one chief told me broken arrow. They cannot contain what's coming across the border. They can't contain it. We have lost operational control. And add to those numbers, under Joe Biden, a record number of migrants have died on U.S. soil. I've never seen this many migrants die on our soil in the history of my career. Number 2, over 100,000 fentanyl overdose deaths. DEA says 95% fentanyl is coming across the southwest border because the border patrol is so overwhelmed processing people that the border's wide open. At what point do we hold this administration accountable? I mean, this secretary, again, Secretary Mayorkas is an embarrassment to the position he holds. At some point, if any of these people have any integrity, they're going to stand up and tell the White House, no, this is making the country less safe. I refuse to do it. Have some integrity.
Who can Who can do that, Tom, though? Because the Republicans don't control the House, they don't control the Senate right now, and they don't control the White House. So what can anybody do to actually stop it before May 23rd when Title 42 lifts, or any day after that? Is there anything that Congress, even in the minority, could do to try and stave this off?
Absolutely. Rather than going down the southwest border and doing this dog and pony show to get some media, actually do something. The Republican congressmen and Republican senators can boycott every meeting with the Democrats, refuse to negotiate any law, any legislation until they do something to secure the border, because this is a national security issue. If they don't think someone has entered this country illegally that's going to do harm to this nation, then they're ignorant. Border Patrol arrested at least 17 people on the FBI screening database. These people don't want to get arrested, so obviously those 17 were morons. But how many of the 67,000 that got in the country last month, that weren't arrested, weren't identified, no biographical information, how many of them came to this country to do us harm? This is a huge issue. It's not an immigration issue anymore. It's not a humanitarian issue anymore. It's a national security issue. People are dying. Record numbers of fentanyl overdose deaths because the border's open. This administration needs to be held accountable for all of that. And let me tell you something. They can say what they want about the Trump administration. We gave this country the most secure border in my lifetime. Less people died. A hell of a lot less fentanyl came across this country. We had that border secured. This administration came in and intentionally, on purpose, unsecured it, which in my mind is almost treasonous. At some point, we got to say enough's enough.
And Texas Governor Greg Abbott said enough is enough, but he can't do it by himself. Tom Homan, thank you for taking time. Former acting ICE director, always great to get your insight. Thanks.